You're in a season of rebuilding. You're in a season of pushing. However, there are many of you listening also that very well could be in a season of, hey, what's next for me? You've worked really hard. You've achieved massive success, whether as an entrepreneur or in a corporate career, and you really need to take some time to figure out what is your next dream, right? Because as we always say, welcome back to the Dream Life Club show. This is Sumi, and this podcast is for you if you are a woman entrepreneur ready to grow and scale and make the impact in the world that you were meant to make. If you don't know me by now, I have been an entrepreneur since I was 19. I've started multiple businesses, including a 8-figure company called K4 Solutions in the Washington, D.C. area before we sold that and I moved to LA to pursue my lifelong dream of being a pop music recording artist and coach other women entrepreneurs to build and scale companies of impact. Today, we're going to do a quick little episode. I am actually in DC with my family working on some other things here, and I want to jump in real quick and talk to you guys about something that's been on my mind in terms of juggling all the things, all the priorities that we have in our lives as women leaders, as women entrepreneurs, growing and scaling, as well as some ideas around productivity and the balance and the work-life integration that is really critical in order to achieve our goals and achieve our potential, which is, I think, what we're all about here. So, one of the things that I think I've been reflecting on is this balance between the idea of hustle and the idea of grace. And I think it's really a magical sweet spot if we can come to some sort of intersection of grace and hustle. And too many of us, beat ourselves up if we're not productive every single minute of the day. And we need a little bit more grace for ourselves. We need a little bit more breathing room. We need a little bit more expansion and time to just be and soak in other inputs like nature and let our nervous systems kind of recalibrate, right? But on the other hand, many of us are too into the grace. Many of us are too forgiving when we don't maximize our days. Many of us are too forgiving when we take 3 hours to do something that could have been completed in an hour, right? So it's this interesting balance of finding the right medium between the two. And I found that throughout the years, there's seasons, right? Like throughout my career, if I think back, there's been so many different seasons in my life. Some seasons I was really pushing really hard to the point of, almost coming close to burnout. And actually, I know for a fact that I definitely experienced burnout, which I do not recommend because you push yourself so hard that then you need so much more time to recover and heal from the burnout than if you had just, pushed yourself to a degree where you didn't have to take all that downtime on the back end to recover. But there have been seasons where I've been pushing hard, and there have been other seasons where I felt like I definitely could be doing more, but I just wasn't sure how to. Either it was like a season of introspection where I needed to figure out what was really next for me, or a season where other priorities were taking precedence over work and impact. And so I think, it's important to, one, like I said, find this balance between hustle and grace, but 2, identify the season that you're in and start thinking about what do you want this season to be for you? Because we have full choice, right? And that's the thing I think that is really the point here, is that whatever season we're in and whatever kind of balance of grace and hustle that we're going for, it's in our control, it's in our choice, and let's do it intentionally. So if we choose to be in a season of self-reflection and, more sort of recalibration and figuring out what's next, and maybe more fun and more play and more relationship building and more community building, we let that be intentional. Or if we choose to be in a season where we're pushing really hard, looking to achieve our next goal, working more than we've ever worked before, not taking weekends off, that kind of thing, then let's do that intentionally. But the first decision point is, what season are we in, right? And once we identify that, then we can create and design our days and our life accordingly. So do you know what season you're in right now? Do you know what season you're in right now? Now, my guess is that if you're here listening to this podcast, you're in a season of growth. You're in a season of rebuilding. You're in a season of pushing. However, there are many of you listening also that very well could be in a season of, hey, what's next for me? You've worked really hard. You've achieved massive success, whether as an entrepreneur or in a corporate career, and you really need to take some time to figure out what is your next dream, right? Because as we always say, like working so hard, climbing the wrong ladder isn't ever the situation we want to be in. That's never going to get us fulfillment or happiness or real success, right? Because success without fulfillment is not success, right? Like that's an oxymoron. Like there is no success without fulfillment, right? It has to be, we consider both here in the Dream Life Club. We consider both, right? So success is absolutely not just some monetary number that we're achieving. Success is living a life that we want to live. Success is feeling fulfilled. Success is having deep, important relationships, right? Success is making an impact, a positive impact on people. Success is being our best selves. Success is understanding what our potential is and then going for it, right? Success is not getting to the end of our days and realizing we had so much more in us that we never got to express or experience. So with that in mind, let's figure out first, what season are we in? First, to the end of the year, for these next couple months, right? It's November 1st today, if you're listening to this. And so what season is it for you for the rest of this year, 2024? And what season are you preparing for? So a lot of people tend to take the last 2 months of the year as kind of like a downshift, which could be right for you, right? Could be right for you. But the other idea is, what would it look like to up level for the next couple months? What would it look like? Have you considered what it might look like if you actually took the next couple months to do the opposite of what most people do? Which maybe that would give you some sort of an advantage. And I'll be honest with you, I really like that approach for myself. I, in fact, really like taking advantage of the times when most people are slowing down to actually accelerate my pace and to actually use the opportunity to get ahead. And a lot of people will tell you, okay, well, now's the time to kind of, not do anything for the rest of the year and start back up beginning of the year, no matter what your goal is, whether your goal is getting to the gym, right? That's a common phenomenon. The gyms are packed in January and empty in December. Or whether it's business goals, most people think, okay, whatever they've achieved by now is all they're going to achieve for the year, and they'll set some new goals for 2025, okay? But one valid question you could ask yourself is that it for me this year? Or what would it look like if I could set some really aggressive goals for the next 2 months? Would that create some energy, some momentum, some excitement? How does that feel in your body when I even put that idea out there? Does it feel exciting? Does it feel like, oh my God, like maybe you could take advantage of the next 2 months and do something that you haven't even done on the previous 4 months? Maybe the next 2 months could be the time that you bring in those 10 clients you've been working for. Maybe you start something that then takes off before the end of the year, and then you're already humming and buzzing when 2025 comes about and it's growth, right? So identify that for yourself is the first step. What season are you going to be in for the next 2 months? And then what season is 2025 for you? Because that's going to shape how you operate in your business and in your personal life over the next couple months and then the next year. So that's step number 1. Okay, then no matter what your answer is after you've come up with that step number 1's answer, then step number 2 is to write down what success looks like for you. for 2024. Okay. So I want you to have two, maximum three, 1 to 3 very specific things where you have 2 months left. What does success look like for you for the end of the year? Okay. And you can be as aggressive or as conservative as you want with that, right? Because like I said, it depends on what season you're in. If you're kind of downshifting and relaxing and going to value and prioritize just spending time with people, planning some, a Thanksgiving, a holiday party, like whatever it is for you, identify what does success look like? What will make you feel so good on New Year's Eve that you've accomplished this year, right? So it could be like, all right, maybe you do want to go hard and, enroll another few clients into your programs. Maybe you do want to actually, set some aggressive goals and go on a big podcast tour or finish writing your book or, whatever it is. Or maybe you say success is in business is exactly what I've accomplished so far. If anything else comes through, great. If not, success looks like making sure I have great, deep conversations with my family, making sure that I spend quality time with everybody, making sure that, I show up as my best, most rested self for the holidays, right? So there's no right answer here. The right answer is what you choose. But I want you to have 1 to 3 specific things that you're going to be able to measure yourself by at the end of the year. And after you have those specific things in mind, just do a check with yourself. Who do you need to enroll in your vision of success to help you get there? If it's family members, it's family members. If it's team members, it's team members. If it's friends, it's friends. If it's coaches, it's coaches, or accountability partners or mentors or colleagues, or who is it that you need to enroll in your vision of success in order to ensure that you get there? Right? Because here's the thing, like for me, whenever I'm approaching for some reason with my personality, I've always been able to shine the best closest to a deadline. And it's a blessing and a curse because I wish that I could have the same amount of focus and drive, right, all throughout the year as I do at the end of the year or at the end of approaching a deadline. But the truth is, it's been a pattern for my entire life, right? Something ticks up in me closer and closer I get to a deadline. And so for me, for this end of the year season, I'm shifting up. I'm putting some aggressive goals down on my paper. And I know that I need to enroll certain people into my vision of success for it to happen. And so that is one of the keys that most people forget to do is that, look, we're not doing this alone, right? Your dream has got to be bigger than you. And so who do you need to enroll into your vision of success in order to make sure that you get it done? And then finally, let's think about what our days need to look like. What's this balance between hustle and grace for the next 2 months that we're going to commit to so that we can actually be successful by the end of the year? Okay, so to summarize, the 4 questions that you need to ask yourself today are, number 1, what season is this for you? What season is it for you for the next 2 months? And then what season is 2025 for you? Is it a push, let's go, growth, impact, all in kind of thing? Or is it more of an introspection? Is it more of a relationship building and connection building kind of season for you? Okay, so which season is it for you, both for the rest of the year of 2024 and identify what it's going to be for you for 2025? Then, second question, what does success look like for you by the end of the year? Clear 1 to 3 things where you can say that, okay, as long as you do number 1, number 2, and number 3 by the end of the year, that you can feel fulfilled and sleep happy on New Year's Eve, knowing that you lived into your full potential this year. Number 3, who do you need to enroll in that vision of success to make sure it happens for you? And that's key because we can't do life alone, right? And then number 4 is designing your days, right? What is that balance between grace and hustle every day in terms of How much are you working? How much are you playing? What does that integration look like? Where's your focus going to be? How are you managing the holiday season, depending on, what your goals are and what season this is for you, right? And make that really clear. Get clear on that this weekend so that these next 2 months can really set yourself up in the way that you need it to, so that we can have the success and the fulfillment and the lives that we really, really want. All right. So much love to you. I really hope this was helpful for you. 4 clear questions that you can write down and get clear on for yourself, and go take it forward with you, share it around, and let me know what you think. I'd love for you to share this podcast on your social media and tag me at It's Sumi Krishnan. That's ITSSUMIKRISHNAN on Instagram. And let me know what you think of it. Let me know what your takeaways are. And if this podcast has helped you in any way, more than anything, I would really love for you to write a review and give me a rating. And that's the best way that we can share this podcast and continue to grow and bring some amazing guests on that we're working on right now. So much love to you guys, and we'll talk to you next week.